This video is sponsored by Squarespace. From websites to stores, build your online presence with Squarespace. Today we are going to be putting the gold into Kasey Golden. Today we are going to be playing around with the most fragile material I have ever touched. Oh my goodness. That's right. Today we are playing around with gold leaf. If you don't know what gold leaf is, it's a very fancy way to add a little shine and glamour to different objects or even art. I love on the back of the package, it says not suitable for human consumption. So go ahead, you guys, feed it to your dogs. Of course, in this video, I am going to be focusing on putting gold leaf on art, but I thought it would be really interesting to maybe cover a part of our mannequin just to see how it works with 3D pieces before we got into 2D art. So here is our adhesive. Let's cover up a part of our mannequin. What should we do? An arm, a leg. I mean, I knew it was delicate, but this is so delicate. Holy heck. Okay, so we'll take a dry brush and brush it on the glue bits. I have sausage fingers. I'm not a very delicate person. So this is absolutely terrifying. Oh no, my glue fingers are stuck to it. Oh no, okay. Oh my gosh, this is pretty cool. I kind of want to coat our whole mannequin in gold. Oh no! Okay, so this was a bit of a disaster. I was a little sloppy, but it looks pretty cool. And I'm excited to put this into illustrations. So let's get to sketching some ideas for our gold, silver, and bronze leaf and see what we can come up with less sloppy test. I did a few tests to see how this material transferred onto paper and it seemed to work out just fine, so I was pretty excited to work on an illustration that had just a little bit of a metallic shiny flair. I have worked with shimmering metallic watercolor paints in the past, but the gold leaf really gives a nice, strong, and smooth application of this metallic shiny gold. So it definitely has a much nicer look than, say, paint does, just because you do get that smoother, easier application. Well, and by easier, I just mean easier in the sense that you do get a consistent thickness with this sheet as opposed to watercolor. Of course, this material does have its own struggles, but we will get into that. For now, what am I drawing? Because this is gold and my last name is Golden, I thought it would be cute to be a little self-absorbed today. We are starting off with a doodle of myself and Saw Kasey. I wanted to give us a little golden crown floating above our heads and use the gold leaf to make those, as well as surround the illustration of us in a circle of gold. So I will be applying that later. I was really nervous going into this. Like I said, I did do a test and it seemed to work out just fine. But of course, this is a new material and it is something that I am using for the first time. And I'm a strong believer in practice making progress, but oh boy, I love showing you guys me trying things because I always make a fool of myself and it's great content. So here we go, let's start applying that gold foil. So the instructions on how to apply this gold leaf says to either use cotton gloves or the protective sheets that come in between the sheets, but oh my goodness, this stuff was so fragile. I looked at it and it blew out of the sheets. It was just, like I said, too much for my sausage fingers to handle. It was just so thin and fragile, and breathing made them blow around. It was crazy. So applying them wasn't too hard. It was a little difficult to put glue down and not entirely know where the glue was. I always get a little frustrated when applying things that are completely clear. At this point, I was making progress. I was confident. It was looking great. And then this happened. Yo, what up? Your girl just spilt all of the glue. Heck yeah. Love that. Love that. I had originally bought this gold foil and the original bottle of glue, which was twice this size, $25 bottle of glue in Australia, left it in my carry-on baggage, and obviously they took it away because it was liquid. Quite annoyed, but what can you do? I bought some more here in Canada, and then I spill another $20 bottle of glue. I was just... Whew. And then on top of that, the gold foil didn't seem to come off of the page quite as well as I was hoping, and I was starting to feel frustrated at this point. Frustrated, yet hopeful. So aside from the absolute mess that you get from gold foil, here is our result. It is super shiny, super reflective. It's pretty beautiful, and you get a really solid flat gold application, but it is very patchy, and I would not be surprised if that's just because of my inexperience, especially, I don't know what happened up here. I'm pretty sure I got a nice crown shape, but apparently I didn't. Overall, it's just, it's sloppy, it's patchy. I mean, look how reflective. That's pretty amazing. I think overall the effect is really beautiful, and I do really like it, and I do want to try to learn how to use it. So let's work on a couple more pieces, and hopefully we can get a grasp on this gold leaf material. Moving on from our gold to our silver, and again staying inside of my comfort zone because I was feeling a little scared of this material at this point. Obviously, I don't expect myself to jump into something new and be perfect and great at it right away. That would be foolish, but sometimes it's a little sad when things are just looking so bad. You start to wonder, am I an idiot? The answer for me usually is yes, because I kind of have a suspicion that I'm just rough and sloppy when it comes to things like this that need to be treated in a very delicate and careful manner. I'm not really that careful, and I like to do things quick. I'm very impatient. So I wouldn't be surprised 100% if this is all my fault. That said, we are of course drawing Hatch, my boy. My son, can I say? I love drawing Hatch when playing with new materials because I feel so comfortable drawing him, so it's really good to just focus on the material. So we are using our silver. I thought it would go really nice with our blue color of Hatch. I gave him a nice shiny jacket and thought I would try to play around with creating a brush stroke with the way I applied the glue and maybe sort of embrace the imperfections of the application of this metal foil. It seemed like things were going a lot smoother this time. There are a few bumps here and there on Hatch's jacket, but it looks pretty nice. Because there was just a little bit of overlap from the foil and some of the inking bits, I went through and added some additional details onto the jacket, and at this point I was thinking maybe I was starting to get the hang of things. Maybe. So here is our silver foil illustration. It's not perfect obviously, but I think it's definitely oh my gosh, look at my thumb. I think this is definitely an improvement from our gold foil. I tried to go for a brush stroke, I guess, texture on the outsides. It isn't 100% perfect, but it's definitely an improvement from the gold. And then I filled in the jacket with silver. Again, it's not perfect, but I think it's a really nice effect. I mean, gosh, look how it's so shiny and so smooth. I think with a little bit of practice, I could definitely perfect this if I wanted to add it to my art. But for now, let's move on to our final color, bronze. So going into our final piece of art, I did want to do something that I feel like I see a lot when it comes to illustrations or art with gold foil. It seems like the subject is always magical or just very elegant or regal or just really fancy and nice looking. Usually it's a girl and there's flowiness happening. So I thought I would do something like that. Nothing too crazy. It is just a portrait of someone with a colored circle behind them. And in general, I just tried to create a mood that would go well with some very sparkly details. So we have a horned girl with an arrow shooting through her chest and some arrows around her. And I was going to try to go for this really nice, powerful yet simple illustration. this is a rough one. This is probably the worst of the three. Things just got worse, it seems, right when I thought they were getting better. I definitely don't want to give up on trying gold foil. I really want to keep trying techniques and trying to perfect maybe a more gentle touch with my fat sausage fingers. But for now, this is what we have. I was actually really happy with this character. I think she turned out really cute. I was really excited for her white hair to pop off of that bronze. For whatever reason, I really enjoy her shoe flying off of her foot. And I was even going to attempt a lineless look for the arrows with the bronze, and boy oh boy, every time I think things are going well with applying, I feel really confident. I feel like I'm being nice and gentle with applying glue. I'm just patting the foil on gently. Things seem to be going fine. And once I go through and start to remove the foil, which I did watch quite a few tutorials, and it seems like people just kind of go in there with a brush and go crazy and remove it, and it should be fine because you're gluing it down. But I seem to be missing the mark for this one because things just, they're very messy. Foil was sticking where I didn't put glue, and overall things were just falling apart very quickly. Looking back on it, I do have to wonder if my biggest mistake was putting too much glue on the paper. I wasn't putting globs of it down, but I do have to wonder when I did put the foil on the glue, maybe it caused the glue to spread out because there was just so much there and it had nowhere to go. So that's my suspicion, that maybe I just used a little bit too much glue, but to be honest, there are still areas where it's so messy, oh boy. Clearly, I need some practice. Something else I didn't expect when going into this gold foil situation is just how messy it was. My fingers were getting glue on them. That glue is not easy to wash off. There were just pieces of foil all over the place. Like I mentioned, if you just breathe on it, it would just blow all over the place because it's just so light and fragile. I have been finding pieces of gold foil in my hallway, in my bathroom. It was stuck on my clothes and just falling off everywhere. It was quite a mess. It felt like the sand of art supplies, but I guess that's more glitter. All of that being said, I definitely don't want to give up on trying to use gold foil. I think with a little practice or re-evaluating how I use it, I could definitely get a better hang of it. I have a lot of sheets still left over, so I can definitely practice. I even thought about covering some art supplies in the gold foil, but it does kind of feel sticky even after you cover it. But I definitely do want to use this in the future. It would be really nice to even put in with acrylic paintings. Ooh, now I really want to put some gold foil on a canvas. That would look so cool. Okay, future idea. Until then, I will just have to keep practicing. So I know it's a huge possibility that I just didn't use this material in the most perfect way because this was my first time using it, but I just feel like there were too many instances where the foil, especially right here, I know I didn't do that bad of a job putting glue in that area to the point where it's stuck everywhere else. So either I'm not being gentle enough with it, or it's meant for more 3D projects and covering spaces rather than being very particular with it in an illustration. Either way, I think the effects are very cool. I just haven't maybe figured out how to use it as well as it could be used. It's very shiny. I mean, look at it. That's pretty cool. But thanks for watching, you guys. This was a bit of a disaster, but I still enjoyed trying this material. And I'll see you in the next video. But you know what's not a bit of a disaster? Squarespace. Wow, that segue. So whether you are trying to show your work to potential clients or you're trying to sell a couple of prints to customers, having both your portfolio and your shop in one place is perfect. You can even easily import your photos from Twitter or Instagram. I mean, it can't get any easier. Oh wait, it can. 24/7 email support. Head over to squarespace.com/Kasey Golden to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using code Kasey Golden. And with that, stay golden. Bye.